hundreds of tombstones were vandalized in Philadelphia and Missouri at a Jewish cemetery. As a matter of fact, here's the details. Who would have ever thought this would be taking place? You're looking at all of a sudden when leadership gets into office and Israel starts getting support and America and Israel start standing together, of all the things that begin to happen, as we talked about in our previous program, persecution against the church in around the world, but in Egypt, but also cemeteries, Jewish cemeteries in Philadelphia and Missouri have been vandalized by people coming. Anti-Semitism appears to be on the rise. As a matter of fact, let's go right now to Philadelphia.
Well, Sarah, we first came out here about 11 a.m. yesterday, and it was bad. The damage was immense. So many of these tombstones were toppled over. I can tell you now, in over 24 hours since we've come back, I have noticed a lot have been reset. That's very nice to see that so many people in this community have come out here and they're starting to try and fix things up. But what's really sad is you'll see behind me here are these old style tombstones like that don't rest on a base. Those have been split in half, and those are the kinds of ones that will never be able to be fixed. For people like Adrienne Berger, seeing what's happened here at Mount Carmel Cemetery has made her feel something she thought she never would. That's scared because of her faith.
I felt like suddenly unsafe as a Jewish person.
She came to check on her parents' grave. Luckily, hers was spared. That's not the case for the many others that were knocked down. From Chopper 6, you get a larger picture of the scale of damage. But Berger says not all is lost. She knows people are already coming together.
I have to say that when I went on Facebook and my friends called me and saw that there were Muslim groups coming to help and non-Jewish groups and Jewish groups, so many people came right away to start lifting up the stones and, you know, starting a Kickstarter. And it did kind of lift my spirits a little bit.
The Philadelphia police continue their investigation today to try and figure out who terrorized the Jewish cemetery in Wissinoming. They've called it an abominable crime. You won't find anyone who disagrees with that, including Mayor Jim Kenney, who's speaking out.
This ethnic, religious, and bigotry needs to stop. It needs to be put an end to.
The Jewish Federation is also here at Mount Carmel Cemetery looking things over in disbelief.
What we're trying to do is gather as much information as possible so that we can, as a united Jewish community and the larger community of all religious groups, try to understand what has occurred here.
At this point, no word from detectives on who they think did this. Okay, another live look out here at Mount Carmel Cemetery. You can see so many people have come out here to check on loved ones' tombstones and really just to look things over in disbelief of what's happened here. Now, at this point, the Philadelphia police have not officially called this a hate crime yet, and the official number, the amount of tombstones toppled over, has not been released yet. Now, reporting live in Wissinoming, Bob Brooks, Channel 6.
I mean, you think about this. I mean, you're looking at Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in great relationships with one phone call from President Trump when he first got into office. They just joined together, as we had that on our program, had a joint press conference. We've embraced Israel. We're treating the Jewish people with the respect that they deserve from our nation. The previous administration seemed set against to be able to embolden the enemies of Israel. And it's like, why would this be happening? Where you're looking at the enemies of Israel, and the enemies of Jews, and the enemies of Christians are being fueled during a time like this. Understand that we got to pray for our Jewish brothers and sisters and citizens. It was good to see, you know, other people come out and begin to support. They got a Kickstarter fundraiser thing to be able to support the cemetery, but we want it to be stopped and prevented. And you would think, you know, now that we're back in relationship with Israel, that everybody would be happy. Well, the enemies of God, the enemies of Israel, the enemies of the church, they're not going to be happy when things are going right. So it's time for us to stand in the gap. As a matter of fact, our president, he was visiting the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and he had a chance to be able to speak out against this anti-Semitism that's taking place. Let's join him now.
The anti-Semitic threats targeting our Jewish community and community centers are horrible and are painful, and a very sad reminder of the work that still must be done to root out hate and prejudice and evil.
So you're looking at, our president saying, we got to stop this. We got to join with it and begin to pray and ask God to be able to stop the persecution of Jews and Christians. In our previous program, Franklin Graham put out a call to an urgent prayer, for the church to begin to pray for the persecuted Christians in the Middle East. So you're looking at this rise going on. Well, Vice President Mike Pence, he went to Missouri and he spoke out against what was taking place against these Jewish cemeteries and gathering places for the Jews in America, and spoke out against it. Let's join Vice President Mike Pence now.
On Monday morning, America awoke to discover the nearly 200 tombstones were toppled in a nearby Jewish graveyard. Speaking just yesterday, President Trump called this a horrible and painful act, and so it was. That, along with other recent threats to Jewish community centers around the country, he declared it all a sad reminder of the work that still must be done to root out hate and prejudice and evil. We condemn this vile act of vandalism and those who perpetrate it in the strongest possible terms. And let me say it's been inspiring to people all across this country to see the way the people of Missouri have rallied around the Jewish community with compassion and support. You have inspired this nation with your kindness and your care.
Aren't you so grateful for Vice President Mike Pence? He's like the gentle hand of, the Spirit of the Lord is on this man, obviously, and he's just so kind and he's so compassionate. He spoke, as we showed you, at the March for Life in Washington, D.C. Life is winning again. And here he is to be able to stand there against the persecution coming against the Jewish centers in Missouri and the cemeteries. As a matter of fact, he even went to the cemetery. Let's join KY3 News right there in Missouri. Vice President Mike Pence.
There is no place in America for hatred or acts of prejudice or violence or anti-Semitism.
While visiting Missouri on Wednesday, Vice President Mike Pence made a stop at the St. Louis area Jewish cemetery that was vandalized over the weekend. Around 180 headstones had been knocked off their bases at the Hesed GLM cemetery. Most, if not all, had been replaced by Wednesday afternoon. Pence joined Missouri Governor Eric Greitens and hundreds of community members in cleaning up the cemetery.
The people of Missouri are inspiring the nation by your love and care for this place, for the Jewish community in Missouri, and I want to thank you for that inspiration, for showing the world what America is really all about.
The outpouring of support for the community didn't stop in Missouri. Muslim activists started a crowdfunding campaign to help with the cost of repairing the headstones. It raised over $80,000 in 24 hours. The vice president's visit came a day after President Trump condemned anti-Semitism, including recent bomb threats at Jewish community centers.
The anti-Semitic threats targeting our Jewish community and community centers are horrible and are painful.
That is so good to be able to see our Vice President stand up for the American citizens, stand up for against the anti-Semitism that's taking place. Thank you for watching VFNtv. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe.
A lot of people want to abide with the Lord, but they just don't have a plan to do it. You can request that plan today at iabide.org.
Don't forget you can join us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download our app and sign up for our newsletter, The Torch, at VFNtv.com.